Okay, in this video we're going to set up the BOP for drilling, and I'm going to show you a few other things that you need to know about operating a BOP and what you should see when you do operate a BOP. Okay, so if you're doing a IWCF practical examination, there's a good chance that your BOP will be set up something like this when you come to do it, and you're going to be required to get it ready for drilling. And IWCF standard 53 now says that everything has to be, all the lights have to be green for drilling, so it's green for go. So some are open, obviously the rams and the annulars are open, and your fail-safe valves or your HCRs on your surface stacks have got to be closed. So I can see, first thing I do when I come to look at a BOP is have a look at the pressures up here, make sure all the pressures are okay. Now I can see straight away that my annular pressure is quite low. We usually set the annular pressure between 500 to 1500. 1500 is the maximum, obviously, but when we're doing classes we usually set it to 1000 psi, so I'll bring that up to 1000. If you're running casing or something, you're going to have to reduce it because casing, you can collapse the casing if you put too much pressure on it, and you have to close the annulus, so be aware of that. And you can see the manifold pressure is 1500, that's close enough. 1504. Manifold pressure operates all the rams and all your fail-safes. The annular pressure only operates your upper and lower annular. In this case we've got a subsea stack, so we've got two annulars. So 1500 is good for manifold, and the flow meter there, you reset that after every function so that you can see. I'll show you in a few minutes what you may see or may not. And your accumulator pressure here, 2711, you might say, oh well, that's a bit low. Well, this system is set up as a 3000 psi system, and the pumps are set to kick in at 10% below working pressure. So these pumps will kick in as soon as that drops to 2700 psi. So in actual fact, that's okay at the moment. As soon as I make an operation here, you'll see that change. Okay, so I've got the upper pipe rams closed, so I'm going to need to open that. So every operation on a BOP is a two-handed operation, so you've got to press the master switch. Sometimes on a surface stack it's an air, it's a handle which just allows air to go to operate the four-way valve, the three-way valve. Okay, so you push the thing, and then it's always two-handed. Then you press the upper pipe rams, and you hold it till the light turns green, and you can see that the manifold pressure dropped. We're getting a gallon count. Manifold pressure comes back up again. That shows that the rams are closed. Now I know that this upper pipe ram takes 11 gallons. You can see that the pressure's dropped below 2700, so the pump's kicked in now. That'll come up to 3000 and switch off. Okay, so I know that takes 11 gallons to open those rams, so that's fine. So I'll reset that. And I've got the lower kill is open here, so I'll close that. Same again, two-handed operation. And there you can see the pressure drop and come back up again, and you can see the accumulator pressure's dropped a bit. So these two gauges, the manifold pressure and the accumulator pressure, will drop. Manifold pressure will come back up to the preset once the function's finished. Now if you look at this, we've also, because this is a subsea stack, we've also got the block function, and our lower annular is in block. So that means there's no pressure on the open or closed side. But by looking at that, they've got a memory. I can see that the last position that was in the open. So I can just bring that back to open. There you go. So there's no flow. You can see that was already open. All right, now I'm just going to bring, I said before about the gallon count. So you need to see 4 things when you make a function. I'm just going to bring a tool joint now to the upper pipe rams. Don't try this at home. This is a simulator, so I'm not going to cause any damage to any equipment. But this is now, I've got a tool joint across the upper pipe rams at the moment, and I know it takes about 10 gallons to close the upper pipe rams. But you watch what happens here when I make to close it. You'll see the manifold pressure drop. But 3.12 gallons. I'm 7 gallons short. Something's happened. We got a function here, and we got a drop there. Manifold pressure dropped, and the accumulator pressure dropped, but the flow meter is wrong. So what the problem is here is I've got a tool joint across the upper pipe rams. So that's why we need to know 4 things. Every time you operate a BOP, you see 4 functions. First, you'll see the light change. Once the light changes to close, does that mean it's closed? No. You have to see a flow. You might not get any flow. The light will still change even whether it flows or not. So you see the lights change. You see the manifold. If you're closing a ram, you'll see the manifold pressure drop and then return to its original. You see the accumulator pressure drop. It may or may not come back up. Depends whether it drops below 2700. And you'll see the correct flow. So that's 4 things: 2 gauges, a flow meter, the light first, manifold pressure, accumulator pressure drops, manifold pressure returns to its original, and your flow meter has to read the correct amount. Okay, I'll just bring that tool joint away from the pipe rams now. Okay, so, and there we are set up. You can see the air pressure. If you've got no air pressure on this type of BOP, you will not have any functions available to you at all, because the air controls the 3-way valves on your Kumi system. These pressures here, the kill line and the BOP pressures, that's just the hydrostatic from the surface. Because this is a subsea stack, you've got hydrostatic in the riser, and that's the hydrostatic pressure in the riser. It's 550 feet, and mud weight is 10.5 in this particular well. So that's how you set up a BOP for drilling. All lights have to be green for drilling, that's API. Make sure, I always check the pressures first when you come to do this. And now you're ready for drilling.